For this sample, you should have an 8 by 4. You're going to fold it in half so you have 2 thicknesses. Always sew a button on at least 2 thicknesses. A lot of times there's interfacing in between there, but you got to in order to make sure it stays really good and solid. So I'm going to start by, I always hold my fabric in my left hand, needle in the right, but it's always the opposite. So because I'm right-handed, I use my needle in my right, and my left hand holds it. If I was left-handed, I would hold the needle in my left hand and hold my fabric in my right. So I'm going to place my needle right where I need to be putting my button. I pick the center, and I pull that up so that my knot is on the back side. And then I'm going to take my button, and I'm going to stitch and drop it on there. I have it go right up through there, and then I'm going to go back on down. Now, our instructions tell us to use a pin, and I'm going to put a pin underneath here. Is there a pin behind me? Very good. I'm going to put this pin so that I'm sewing it right on top of there. And what that's going to do is provide me a little bit of space for the button. So I don't turn my fabric upside down. I just keep sewing on the top. So I'm going to do this 3 times on this side. So I go up and I go back down over it. So that was 2. This is number 3. And then I'm going to jump down here to the bottom row, up, over. Notice I never take my eyes off the top of that button. I don't turn it upside down until the very end. Okay, so that's my second one. I'm going to do a third one. I just keep stabbing until I find exactly where I need to be. All right, so now I'm going to take this button out. It gave me some gap, so I can pull this out, and then I can pull my button up, and I've got some space in between there, right in between there. So now I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come up through the center, but I'm not going to let it go through my button, but it still comes up through the center, and I pull that through, and then I'm going to let go of my needle, and I'm going to wrap this around 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Super tight. Now I'm going to turn my button a little bit out of the way, and I go back down through the center. So now all I have to do is knot it. So now I flip it over. All my stitches are on the back side. And remember, when we do a knot, we take a stitch and we go through the loop that it forms. I can find the loop. And remember, we do that 3 times. So there's 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to just trim my thread close up against there. All done.